full-on Superman discussion. Coy Jandreau not here today. Who needs him? It's me and Winston A. Marshall. Yes, somehow he made it right before we went on the air. I'm going to do a ranking on who the absolute worst is on getting. I always ask the host to get in 5 minutes early, so for sound things and all that stuff. I'm going to let you guys rank who you think is the best and who you think is the absolute worst. Put your thoughts in there already, and then I'll tell you if you're right. But we're going to be talking about Superman. The majority of it, we're talking about what's going on with the movie itself. Non-spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen the movie. I have my full spoiler discussion, or review rather, already up on the channel. So if you want to spoiler thing, you can do that. I'm also going to be talking spoilers with Rocha on Monday. And then, obviously, when Coy is back next week, the three of us will talk some spoilers as well. So there's also rumors that there's going to be a Jimmy Olson potential movie. What's that all about? It's going to be a Mr. Terrific movie. Possibly different tones for all these movies too. So that and more on the show here today. So let's get into it. It's Kristian and Harloff show. It is Friday. Capes and Cowls. Here we go.
In a world.
No, I'm not gonna. Nope. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. It is Kristian and Harloff show. It's Capes and Cowls on this Friday today. Joining me on the show every Friday, Winston A. Marshall. Coy Jandreau not here today. Had to do some stuff, personal stuff. Let us know. Right, you give us enough notice around 30 seconds before the show starts. Perfect. No, you've got an hour, but still. But yeah, as I was saying to Winston, I'm letting people know who the absolute worst are. Coming in here 5 minutes early to make sure, just in case there's sound things and all that other stuff. And so, Winston, you know that you probably rank as one of the worst, so we can reveal that. But like, who do you? Well, yeah. So, and I also told you who else is the worst, even though that particular person will fight me to it, and I don't care because I'm going to say one of the absolute worst. Is you and Roxy. You guys are the two worst when it comes to it. And Roxy always says, "Oh, we never start on time." I'm always here at least 5 or 10 minutes early every time. Even when I'm getting back from the gym, I'm always here at least because I want to see if these sound things are going.
There's been rare exception where that hasn't been the case.
Right, and I text you.
Not always. There was one time I remember, but that's the thing. One time,
right?
In the past couple of months where I was just sitting in the room, I was like,
yeah, that's
coming. Like I texted you didn't, but I think probably what it was, if I remember correctly, I think you were recording something else before, okay. So you were just running over. Because then I started texting Luke. I was like, "Is he coming?"
Right. So very, very rare, very rare. So yeah, you guys rank as the two worst. Mike is excellent. Mike Kalinowski, surprisingly enough, with his shit ass internet, is excellent. He ranks pretty high.
Why?
Coy, right? He's still been in the room since last week. He just can't get out of it. Coy is actually really good.
It used to be.
No, not in person. In person, he was always late. But Coy's actually pretty good with the 5 minutes early things. So Coy's pretty good. Mike's pretty good. Steph's really good. Rocha is more in the category of you and Roxy. He shows up like 1 minute beforehand. So you guys, the three of you guys stink. And then who else? So Kris Carr is maybe the best. Kris Carr is the best. She's in here before I am.
But that's because she's also the most professional out of all.
That's 100% true. And Brett Sheridan always on time. Brett's always on time.
Well, that's because you keep Brett locked in the basement.
That's also true. That's how it's true. So I think that's everybody, right? Am I missing anybody? No, I think that's everybody. So
Steph, you said Steph?
Yeah, Steph. Steph's always 5 minutes early, always. So it's really the three of you guys are the worst. So there you go. Welcome to the show. It is time and again, as I've been mentioning every show. Winston, thank you though, as much as I bust your chops. Thank you for checking out Grasping at Straws. You had sent a message about it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
It's funny watching that. I mean, I immediately can see you because you wrote that, right?
Yes.
What just happened? Oh, you're fixing yourself. Yeah. I could immediately see your strength as a writer pretty quickly watching that. And then B, I don't think I've seen Eliza do a lot of acting, but I immediately saw her talent as an actress.
Oh yeah,
like obviously she doesn't do stand up in the pilot, but she is fantastic as an actress. And I was like, oh shit! Like so that tandem, I immediately was like, it makes sense why you were writing for WWE at one point and things like that. Like you have a very specific voice and you know how to articulate it well with your words, man. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, and that was I forgot that it kind of fell out of it and fell into this. You know what I mean? So I have been working on that new pilot. We finished the first draft. I already have it out for notes. But I'll tell you, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but like I got a very nice text yesterday. It's from Jeremy Johns. And I didn't even send it to Jeremy or say anything to Jeremy. I haven't spoken to Jeremy in a little bit. And he wrote me just a very nice text about it because it's right now as I'm getting ready to shoot this pilot, you know what I mean? I'm and trying to raise money for it to get it shot and all that. You start to, it's been 17, 18 years since I've actually even tried to act in front of a camera, like in a real thing. So when he wrote a particular thing and he was very complimentary on the whole process and everything. And it just, and he watched it and he said some nice things. And I just was, happy that he went out and did that on his own, right. Without being sent to it. And it means a lot coming from him. I respect his opinion. I've always kind of been on the same page with him on certain things. And so it was nice. And it encouraged me more so to really get this thing going. And the first draft is already out. We're getting it to the director in 2 days. So
that's great, man. I mean, that was the other thing. Like you're a good actor as well. I think it's one of those things when like you're watching like a sports player, like you're like, oh, like Shohei, like he can hit and he can pitch. Like pitching is, if I'm using the pitching analogy, as far as like your skill set, like you're like a solid like 8 in acting, you're a 10 at writing.
Oh, that's nice.
Good writer.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. That's very, very kind of you, and I'm glad that you got a chance to see it because I was proud of it, and it already hit 10,000 views.
Apparently the dude time travels. He was in. You had the dude in the pilot. Like how many years ago was that?
Right? No, I know, right? Yeah, that's Tazzy. Tazzy was the man. Actually, it's funny. Right before we started, I actually found like hundreds of pictures from Grasping at Straws on set. There's the first picture ever taken of me and Mark together ever on that. So I'm gonna post some of those. But anyway,
when did you guys originally meet? I was
comedy. Well, no, actually, I told the story about this. But Mark, I was friends with the guy named Doug who went to Florida State, who was one of Mark's best friends, and I had a barbecue at my place, and he said, "Hey, do you mind if I bring my friends?" I was like, "No, sure." And here comes Mark with bleach blonde hair, by the way. His sister had bleach blonde hair. And I said, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Right. And I was like, "Who is this guy?" And I hit it off with him a second and he started talking to him. He was like the nice guy in the world. And then he had not been doing stand-up. So I started, I was like, look, if he had been doing stand-up in LA. So I was like, hey, there's a couple different places because I was a regular at the Comedy Store at that point. And I was like, I said, there's a couple different places that you could go. And I gave him some names and other things. And then, he was working the door when I was a regular also. So I would talk to him a lot. And then I was there one night when I was just talking to him about this. And when we were shooting that pilot or was casting the pilot, I did a set at the Comedy Store. And I'm like, I knew I wanted Rick Ingram in it because Rick was one of my really good friends. Plus he's absolutely hilarious. He's the one that I walk in, he's with my girlfriend and he goes, dude, he's Vince LaPlante. Yeah. So I knew I wanted him, but then I was talking to Ellis. I don't know why for some reason I was like, hey, I have a thing in this pilot I'm doing. Would you want to do it? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he can't, and that's how we weren't like really good friends. We were just kind of acquaintances. And he came in, and then we started talking a lot on set when he was there, which led me to think, once we started shooting and everything too, we became closer. When Martini, which this is how this all comes together, Martinique, who I'm writing this pilot with, is essentially the Charlie's Angels of the Schmoes. Without her, the Schmoes never happens, because she was working at Current TV, and she said, hey, she called me. She said, do you want to review some pilots that are out right now? And she goes, you know, if so, she's like, do you know anybody from the Comedy Store, anybody that you want to do it with you? We'll send you one of those flip cams and you can shoot, you know, you can just record yourselves and do that. And I thought of Ingram first. And then I was like, no, you know what? I think Ellis might be funny to do this. And then so Ellis came over to my place. We had like pizza and beer, and then we weren't even on camera together. And so he recorded his thing, I recorded mine. Then they liked us the best. So they would splice together the footage and that. And then after about a couple of months, we're like, why don't we try to do this on camera together? And that's how that came to be.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Stranger than fiction, man. Truth is stranger than fiction.
Isn't that weird? Like without Martini, it never happens. Like Schmoes is never a thing.
Just because of how close you guys are to it, I don't know why it felt like you had just been friends forever. Like that, like
Right.
not that you necessarily were like, you know, high school, elementary school friends, but like for some reason it feels like, I don't know, y'all both happened to do an open mic at the Comedy Store at the same time. You're just like, hey, buddy.
No, I had been a regular at the Comedy Store for a bit, and then because of grasping at straws and putting Mark in that pilot, that's how it all came to be. So for some history for people if they were curious and they're like, no, I wasn't talking about Superman. Fine. It is time to talk about Superman, and let's get into it. It's Superman talk. There's gonna be non-spoilers for this one, so don't worry if you haven't seen it. Let's get into it. So first of all, the Superman is soaring to an estimated 22.5 million in previews ahead of what looks to be an epic weekend. Superman is off to a terrific start at the domestic box office as early projections point to a massive 21 million start the best Thursday preview figure so far in 2025. You can find out more details. Josh Wilding says Superman exceeded expectations, earning an awesome 22.5 million, beating the Batman 21.6 and setting the stage for 130 million opening weekend. That's what I said. I said 135. We're still a few hours away from confirmed figures coming in, but all signs are pointing to Superman being a super hit in North American theaters this weekend. According to early estimates from Deadline, the DC Studios reboot is eyeing a 20 million start with previous screenings, including 2.8 million earned by the movie Tuesday's Amazon Prime screening members. And Superman is breaking records. Not only has it landed the best start for a James Gunn movie, the previous was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is 17.5 in 2023, but it's the best previous figure of 2025 so far, topping Lilo and Stitch. That's bigger news than Captain America.
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch is 14.5. Captain America is 12. The sky is the limit for Superman, and despite conservative opening weekend estimates of 115 million to 130, the trade says it looks to be leaving all those projections in the dust. Okay. For those eager to compare Superman to the DCEU, it has already surpassed the 9 million made by Man of Steel in 2013. It was a different era for previews as it began at 10 p.m. at the time. I remember that, compared to Superman's 2 p.m. start. The Batman did 21.6 million in previews in 2022, but Superman should beat it. According to the Wall Street Journal, Warner Brothers executives want Superman to make at least 500 million worldwide. If it hits that figure, they'll consider the movie a hit. However, just as importantly, Warner needs audiences to love what they see and be eager for more, because the movie is the launch pad for the new DC cinematic universe. Superman also touches down in China this weekend. That's going to be that's a real big as far as that's going to right there. That China number is going to be the next conversation with you and I of, you still believe it's going to hit $1 billion, right?
No.
Oh, you don't?
I don't. Having seen the movie, and I enjoyed the movie a lot. I really, really liked it. I think there's enough going on that this movie will clear probably 850.
Yeah.
It might be it might right around 9, but I don't know if it'll make it all the way to $1 billion at this point. I think there's just enough that's like of not, I wouldn't call them complaints, but like concerns where like people being like, wow, there's a lot of characters in here, or wow, there was not as much, time spent with said characters or ideas, that I think that will hamstring it just a little bit. Because I started looking at what movies since COVID have hit $1 billion.
Yeah.
And it either, like, first of all, now that I think about it, I think all of them were IP, so it obviously has that in its corner. One of the largest IPs that are out there, or it was banking off of some major nostalgia factor. It had to be good, obviously, but like Top Gun, Spider-Man, but you were doing decades of stuff off of that. Barbie, just a massive IP as well. Again, Superman is, so that's fine. Avatar, it's Avatar. I don't know why the Jurassic movies keep doing it, but sure. And then what? We'll give it to Minecraft because they were at like what 975, 980 or something
Close,
like that.
but I think Lilo is closer than Minecraft.
Okay, and then Lilo also was very close. So I it will get close, and I would not be surprised if it does it. But I am going to amend mine to say somewhere between 850 and 9.
Yeah, that's where I was landing at originally. I'm still curious where it's going to land as far as internationally. I still don't think it's going to hit $1 billion. I think that it's going to get in that 800 to 900 range. Maybe. Yeah, if it hits 850, that'll be nice for them.
Yeah. You got it. Obviously, it's the 4-quadrant thing, but like, yeah, you have to either be able to rope people with kids, and that's what the point of crypto is for sure. Totally. I enjoyed crypto as an adult, but that will fully sell it for kids.
The marketing is for. Look, I have had so many people, and a good friend of mine that I went to school with, reached out to me to say, "Hey, is this okay for my 6 or 7-year-old to go see?" Because they're aiming that at the kids and it is, it's like there's not really too much dark stuff in it, minus him bleeding in the beginning of it, and there's there's not a lot in there that is too dark the kids can't see it. So they are aiming it towards families also, and I think that's why it's also going to do very well, because this is one of those movies that is so, like, I'm telling you, whether it's a spoiler review, out of the theater, non-spoiler, this has happened on every one of my videos.
Blows up.
No. The first comment, this movie was terrible, I hated it. The next comment, this is one of the best movies I've seen all year. The next comment, I didn't like what James Gunn here did this. The next comment, that I couldn't believe how much fun I had with this one. It was it's like there were just two different opinions. And I will tell you that this, because I know you were in the chat yesterday, and we were talking about Dan Murrell stuff, and I brought up Dan because I think all of Dan's points in this movie are valid. I think that the difference is not problem, but the difference is I had fun. Well, and I talked to I pretty much broke down on my spoiler review all of the stuff that I had issues with, right? Mm-hmm. But the question is the stuff that you have issues with enough to take away your enjoyment of the film? And if it is, then you didn't like the film. Mm-hmm. You can still have all those criticisms, but you're like, no, I walked out with a smile on my face, and I felt like I was watching an animated television show. That's how I felt. The character development is not there. It needs to be. There are some times when the humor steps on some of the emotional moments, but there's sometimes that it just was set up so right with all the characters in the beginning. It didn't bother me. Crypto, who I thought was going to bother me, didn't bother me. No. He was set up. I will say that, I mean, people know at this point that Supergirl's, going to be a part of the universe. Everybody knows that already with Millie Alcock. I'm concerned about that. I didn't like what they did with her at all.
That's a version of the character that has definitely been seen before. So I'm not as pressed about that, because a lot of times
of it though is like,
but I don't think it will be. I think what it'll end up being is similar to what Star-Lord is at the beginning of like Guardians 3 or any Guardians movie, where he is an asshole. So she'll be a prick, and then she will get a very valuable lesson that makes her mature. Okay. Like that is, I think the arc they're going to go with, which we've seen with Kara before. So
we'll get. I mean, we're gonna talk about the potential of her, the tone and stuff that James Gunn has made it pretty clear that the tones are going to be different in these movies. So we'll discuss that in a little bit. But as I think you and I kind of have similar opinions on the movie, right? So it's a little bloated for sure.
It is.
There's a lot going on in the movie, but like, I still think that there are times, even when they introduce all the other characters and the way that they did it, I'm like, okay, I like seeing them. Like, you could have probably focused a little bit more on Clark and Lois here, and I don't think anybody would have complained if you did. But I like seeing this team. I like seeing these characters, and I keep laughing about it, especially in my spoiler. I kept calling Mr. Terrific Mr. Fantastic in the non-spoiler like 1,000 times. I thought Mr. Terrific was one of the standouts.
Summer, man. It's a bloated summer.
I know. He was one of the standouts, and so was Jimmy Olson. Jimmy Olson was excellent.
Yep.
Absolutely excellent. So what are your overall thoughts of this movie, non-spoiler, Winston?
Yeah, I mean, to further unraveling, you guys can check out my non-spoiler, but the main thing that I would take away from this is I think that It's funny. I think at the time when Man of Steel came out, that was the tone of movie that the world was ready to accept at that particular moment. I think at a moment right now where it feels like a lot of the world feels very up in the air, a lot of people are very upset of stuff that's going on. I thought that the tone of this and the flow of this is kind of what we needed, and especially the main conversation throughout the movie is 1,000% keeping your moral compass, keeping your humanity, and you know, taking away the important parts of a message, instead of maybe what the message is, trying to get at the core of like what do you take from a message. And I think that really showed up here exceptionally well, and that the whole time I was there, I was in here being like, yeah, okay, bet. Especially Lois and Clark arguing with each other early on in the interview. Oh, that was a to me, the kind of masterclass was like, I want more of this. What is this? Give me a lot more of that, which is funny because it's a superhero movie. But I think that was really important to have, including making Lois herself her own character. I think the one flaw that I had with Amy Adams is not her as an actress. I think it was the way Zach was writing Lois. It felt more, I am all about Clark. I'm really just here as Clark's he'll lose his mind if I'm not here. Like he'll become evil, versus Lois had stuff to do in this movie and did it.
She did. I think that there's like a positive and a negative at starting the movie. The fact that they, you know, that they're together already, right? The positive is they don't have to set up all that stuff again in the same way that Superman, the way that they set it up and say, Superman has been here already. This is what's going on with Superman. Here you go. There are metahumans that already live in this universe. Go. Right. That's a positive, but the negative that comes with that is that you don't really give a big setup enough to really dive into getting there. You know what I mean? Like with the two of them, because they have good chemistry. They have really good chemistry, Brosnahan and Corin Sweat. But you are asked because he's basically saying, you know, that Lois and Superman, you know them well enough. You just know that they've been through things before. And here you go. And it's like, I would have liked, there's more stuff sometimes that a little bit, it goes so summer blockbustery at times. I'm like, oh, that emotional stuff that you had in Guardians 3 really isn't there. You know, or could have gotten there.
We were starting to get there at definitely at moments. You know what it is? It's funny. It wasn't as egregious, but you remember that video that I sent you of like how Marvel movies be? And I was like, this is you were, it's like super serious moment. Like this is not a spoiler for Superman, but this video that I sent Kristian, they'll be like, you're watching a Marvel movie, and they'll be like, oh my God, he's dead. And he's like, hey, he owed me $5. And then like Kristian would be like, what the and someone in the audience, I have a friend that like, there were moments that happened, and I agree with you. Those jokes kind of fell flat, but like the one in the preview about like you know, or in the trailer about like, oh, I'm doing important stuff, it actually fit in that particular moment.
It did. Well, because with that particular moment, you know, what they did with Superman is they set it up from the beginning with how he is, and it fit. That was my concern, and they answered it. Was that, does it fit his personality throughout the entire movie? And it did. It did for what he was trying to do. And I love that version of him where it's just like, he just wants to do right by people. He's just trying to do good. And I loved that about him in this. And I love the way that he presented it. And I love the way that he was able to do it. And even, you know, people had a problem with him getting frustrated. I didn't at all. It's like, I think it brings forward the human part of him, you know, and that's the whole part, is that he's raised by humans, and he's finding his humanity. He cares for human beings.
It was a bold move to put that many characters in there, but I said in my non-spoiler that I think that was definitely intentional from the standpoint of, when y'all see the movie, there is a moment where everything we've known about Superman gets put on its ear, right? And so the point of it, of having that many people, is if you just had Lois and you just had Ma and Pa Ken, and that's his only connection to humanity, what would stop him from, like Snyder's version, if Martha dies or if Lois dies, I'll kill everybody. I don't care anymore. Versus in this case, if he's friends with the dude in Metropolis, and he's friends with everybody on the planet, and he's friends with Lois, and he's friends with this. And then you have the one bad standout in Lex and the few people he can manipulate, but he has this connection to everybody else. It keeps him grounded. And that was, I think, the point of putting that many different characters and people in his life, to keep him grounded and to keep him human, especially knowing that someone major in his life, again, without any spoilers, all of a sudden he has a whole different view of them, and he starts to question it, but he remembers all those people. That is why they did it. It doesn't mean it doesn't make things sloppy. And it's weird, in this one case, it actually would have been a good thing to have this be a 3-hour movie so you could get more character development out of some of these people. But I don't think you can do that for a Quadrant 4 origin movie. You can't do that. No,
not especially if you're trying to make money, because 3-hour movies means less screens. So 2-hour movies means more screens. So there's going to be, I mean, it's the second weekend's the biggest weekend. We'll find out what's going to happen in that second weekend. That's going to tell you. There's some people, even in the chat, that don't even think it's going to get close to 800 million, right? But that's going to be the conversation next week when we go, okay, look, it's slowed down. And then once Fantastic Four comes in, it's clearly going to take a significant chunk away from Superman. But the question is, what does it do week 2? Week 1 is going to be a big number. We'll see how that pans out. But kind of diving back into it, the performances, I don't think there was one weak performance. I do think that there were some times, though, that there were certain characters that were in different movies. I thought Miss Tessmacher was in a different movie. And
is it the same Tessmacher from Superman 1, my guy?
No, she was not even close. And because
social media version.
No, I know, but I'm saying, but it was like an over the top.
Sure.
Like she just didn't feel like a real person. She didn't feel like almost like she was like a full fledged comedy. I understand her purpose in the movie, but she felt it, and it wasn't a bad performance. I think it was the way she was directed. I think it was so cartoony. And the other guy that was just so James Gunny that threw me out of the movie was the mustache worker. There's a guy with like a really thick mustache, and like everything he has to say is just a bit, and it's like
mustache worker. I don't remember.
There's a guy at the very end. He's just working with Lex. It's so minuscule. It's nothing. Okay. But those are the only two characters. The rest of them, I thought really worked. I mean, like I said, I loved Jimmy Olson. I thought Skyler was he was so great. He just was so great. I like the spin and what they did with his character. I like what he's able to do and how he's able to help out Lois. And I think Brosnahan was a perfect choice for Lois. Excited to see what she's going to do next. More, and like I said, Mr. Terrific. I remember I told you I was worried about Guy Gardner being the one that's like, oh my God, he's just going to be a complete goofball. And you were the one, you and Coy both told me, well, no. The thing with him is he's a douche, but he's a good guy at heart. And he's got the right intent, but he's a douche. And they played perfectly.
They played perfectly.
Yeah, they really did.
It's funny. Just a quick origin on Guy, for those that aren't familiar with Guy Gardner. When Hal, who gets selected as the first Lantern, what actually happens is when the alien, I can never pronounce his name. I think it's Upsanur. Someone
Rockface.
Sure. So when he lands on the planet, he tells his power battery, find me someone that can, take the mantle. And the power battery goes, I actually have two people that are fearless that will work. One guy is actually this like teacher on this side of the country, and another one is like 100 miles away, and he's a fighter pilot. He goes, okay, we'll go with the close one if they're both equally good to go. So Guy was actually more than capable and like considered perfect to do the job. He just happened to be wrong place, wrong time, and didn't get it. And so that's the thing about Guy that's so interesting. Again, he is a douchebag, but he is good at what he does.
Yes,
and he very much cares about people.
He's got a lot of good moments. I thought Hawkgirl had a lot of good moments. I think Mr. Terrific.
Did you know? That's the only. I would argue that I don't have anything wrong with what Isabella Merced did. I have a problem with the fact that they didn't really give her time to do anything.
Out of the three of them, she has the least to do. I don't disagree with you. I think that maybe it's because she's such a good actress and she's got so much like charisma that when she was on the screen, I noticed. But I don't disagree with you. I think maybe they could have done more. I think out of the three of them, she's definitely developed the least. But I still liked seeing her.
I like seeing her for sure. I just hate that like she didn't get time. Perry didn't get time. I hated that.
Perry had nothing to do.
He had nothing to do, and I absolutely hated that.
Yes, I agree with you. He had nothing to do, and he was kind of like shoehorned in there at one point. Yes, I agree with you. And I love that actor. It's so great in The Wire. I I completely forgot about him, and I shouldn't. In my spoiler review, and I should have mentioned that too. But I look forward to getting into the full spoiler because there's so much I want to talk to you about.
Oh yeah,
obviously, and then hopefully, and another reason why is because we got we'll have Coy back hopefully next week, so we can really dive into it at that point. But nonetheless, I think that it did. I think that it did a lot of right. I think there was a lot of wrong, but I really do think that as a matter of enjoyment, that's what this movie's going to be about. Is that if you're sitting there rolling your eyes from the second it starts, you're going to be in for a rough road. If you can go, if it's one of these ones that you can look at, you can go, yeah, there's a problem there, but I'm just having a fun time with this thing, and I like watching this version of Superman. I think you come out and go, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a blast with it. That seems to be, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people going, no, wait a minute. There's a lot of character development. No, all the humor works. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing, yeah, I agree with that, but I had fun.
And I think that's here was the thing that was interesting, because again, where we started. So the crawl that was there was less a crawl and more of like a quick little boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, right. There was no crawl.
Right. It was like crawl from a lack of a better way of explaining it. Right. But my only issue, and I understand why one of the things I was talking to somebody else about is they were like, well, some comic book issues will do that. And they're like, okay, you picked up issue like 121. Mm-hmm. So here, let me just give you a quick summary of what just happened in case you weren't here for issue 130 or whatever. So doing that, I sort of get what he was going with. I would have maybe moved a couple scenes around just from the way that it went. We'll have to wait till the spoiler talk and I can explain more about that. Only from the standpoint of, yes, we want to try and bring a comic book to life, but you're still doing a movie. And so for me, just the order of that did make the first 20 minutes okay. Right. And I held out hope because there were still good things going on in there. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that I did, because once we got the ball rolling, we're off to the races, and I was fully jacked in. But I definitely was like, okay. And not all movies can recover from a potentially slow act one, but this movie does a very good job of doing that.
I didn't find act one slow. I found it very fast paced, to be honest, but I also found it like, I just didn't feel there was much substance as there could have been.
That's more what I mean by slow. Yeah. I don't mean as in like, and then we were here, and then I meant more the idea of like,
you're a little more shallow.
Yeah, it was very shallow as a start.
I agree with that. Yeah, it's a little more shallow, and it takes a bit for you to go, "Ooh, I'm invested."
Right.
Yeah, it's like you're watching a spectacle. You're like, okay, all right, I'm watching. I'm not feeling it yet. I'm watching. I'm still interested. I'm interested, and then you go, "Oh, I'm feeling it a little bit." And I think that there are a lot of movies that you want to feel it from the beginning, but I don't know. I walked out, like I said, I did feel like I had a bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
I was 8 years old, sitting in front of the television, watching an animated show and going, ooh, Superman, flying, he's fighting monsters. He's doing this. Oh, there's Lois. I felt like a little kid.
No, I fully agree with you. I guess it's just I'm even talking about the very first thing we see is, I was like, I would have started like that,
right?
Like you would have, you maybe like
about that, Winston. That again, the spoiler talk. Something about that beginning scene doesn't make sense to me.
Yes,
it doesn't make sense, and I can't talk about it yet.
I know, and but that's part of where I'm frustrated, because I'm even thinking of if we're going to treat this like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah,
if you were to go watch Superman the animated series, it would be, there's a robot destroying the town, and here he comes, and he like punches the robot, and then something happens to be like, oh, this is different,
right?
Versus, without saying much, we started with, oh, this is different. That's the easiest.
Something more about that. It's like, even it's like there's
I know.
But because it's just not fair. People are like, why are you talking about spoilers yet? Because like I said, I have my spoiler review up. You can watch that review.
It'll be out later.
I don't want to assume that everybody in here has seen the movie yet. I'll give you a week, and actually, I won't even give you a week. I'll give you till Monday,
and then talk about it with Rocha.
Yeah, we'll talk with Rocha on Monday, and then we'll get back into it next week. But nonetheless, what were your thoughts, guys, on the movie? If you saw it, if you didn't see it, what are you looking forward to? Does it matter? I think one of the reasons this movie is going to do well, by the way, is that there's so many conflicting reviews from both critics and fans that I think that people are going to go, well, I heard this person said it smells. Yeah, that person said it's amazing. Well, what the hell do I do? You go see the movie.
You go see the movie and make your own opinion.
Right. Right. So I think that that's what's going to happen here. And I think that's the reason why it's going to do well, because it's not like it doesn't seem like there's a huge majority going either way. So anyway, put your thoughts in there. Let us know. Before we get to our next topics, and it's more Superman related for the movies and the tone. But before we even do that, I want to tell you guys, I've been telling you all week about Hydro. I've been telling you about Factor. I really hope that you've been helping yourself out and helping the show out by getting them. You're going to like it. You got today to do it. Go and check it out. Here it is. The warm weather is beginning, and juggling vacations, visitors, zero routine. Hydro brings me back to that structure so I can get it quick. I can get efficient workouts that keep me feeling grounded no matter what the calendar looks like. Hydro to me is kind of the secret weapon for a full body workout. It's like 86% of your muscles, arms, legs, core, all of it. You knock it out in 20 minutes. Super efficient, and it actually works. So one thing that I really love about it is you don't get bored. Hydro, it has so many workouts, got tons of workouts. Actual Olympians are telling you what to do. And they're filmed in these gorgeous outdoor spots all over the world. It makes it way easier to stay motivated. So if you're on the fence, there's free shipping, a 30-day risk-free trial. That alone is perfect. Hydro offers a full year warranty. Honestly, there's no pressure. Try it out. See how it feels. So a lot of people getting a good sweat in used to mean hours in the gym. But with Hydro, all at home, on my schedule, 20 minutes. On the weekend, it's the best. Rowing on my Hydro, it gets me that full body workout without ever having to leave my house. So convenient. I just have it set up in my place. And I was like, okay, weekend, can I get out? What am I doing? We're busy. You know what? I have 20 minutes. Boom. In my house, convenient. Hop in the shower afterwards. I am good. So skip the gym, not the workout. Stay on track with Hydro for a limited time. Go to hydro.com. Use that code Kristian. Save up to $475 off of your Hydro. That is HYDROW.com. Use the code Kristian. Save up to $475. Hydro.com. Code Kristian. All right, summer. It is here. More sun, more light, more time to do all the things that make summer so special. Number one thing you don't want to do all summer, you don't want to spend hours cooking inside. Trust me, it's hot. That's where Factor comes in. Factor chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle over summer and beyond. Factor powers your day, sun up to sundown, with nutritious breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. Factor has your whole day covered. Enjoy more this summer and get Factor if you want all the flavors and none of the fuss. Absolutely love Factor. You guys know I've been talking about Factor forever because it is so good, and they give you the options that you need. If you have a particular diet that you're on, that for me is like, I'm all about the protein right now, guys. And boy, did they have just delicious stuff. I love coming back from, if it's a day at work, if it's something that I need to do, if I'm coming back from the gym, Factor has me covered. So get started at factormeals.com/Kristian50 off. Use that code Kristian50 off to get 50% off free shipping on your first box. That's code Kristian50 off at factormeals.com/Kristian50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/Kristian50 off. Thank you to Factor. Thank you to Hydro. Appreciate it. Winston, I'm telling you, man, this is I would say this point, this is the best shape I've been in my life, I think, right now.
Damn, man.
Well, both Hydro and Jim, I'm going to still say, I know it needs work. I know it does. But like when it comes to this used to be a really flabby, it was flabby.
That's impressive.
It's still flabby. It's still flabby, but I'm telling you that it's been work.
It's the same here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely this bad boy's in there, but there's stuff around it. So maybe I need to do that Hydro, bro.
I'm telling you, like it has helped. Because my arms, it took me a bit. Like beforehand, it was not it was nothing. It was just like, put a shirt on, guy. But thank you to Hydro, thank you to Factor. Make sure that you guys check it out. Put your thoughts in there as far as if you are looking to get in shape, I want to hear it. Put it in there. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, you know what? You know already because you were in the chat yesterday. But you know you're going after
200 something. Yeah.
203 today with Roxy and Mike. I wasn't even on the show on Tuesday. They could win. They could win it without me even being on the show.
So crazy, bro.
But you're looking good right now. You got over 40. You're 41.
Okay, that's a good. I like that. I
believe so. I'll double check the numbers up here because this one isn't right. So what we're gonna do is because good. So if you guys follow UFC, you know that Merab is the bantamweight UFC champion of the world. He is going to be on Matt Serra show. He's coming live in studio. So I got to make sure I jump right at 4 p.m. today because I got to get the studio ready for those guys because I don't want them to kill me. So I want to read this story. We mentioned Mr. Terrific, and then you also got Jimmy Olson. So spinoff shows. Okay, I like that better than I thought movies, but shows. Let's see. Though they may not seem like the most obvious characters to be given spinoffs, we're hearing that TV shows based on Superman's Mr. Terrific and Jimmy Olsen may be in development. Superman director and DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn has confirmed that there are a number of DCU projects both in various stages of development and still in the idea phase that were not named during the initial Gods and Monsters slate announcement, and we may now know what two of them are. According to a piece by Wall Street Journal, Superman spinoff shows focusing on Mr. Terrific and Jimmy Olsen are being considered. Whether this means they're actually being developed is not clear. But there's a chance Gunn is waiting to see how the characters are received in the movie before making a decision. I think Mr. Terrific's already getting enough attention that you could go forward with that. But anyway,
definitely, yeah.
Mr. Terrific may not seem like the most obvious character to get his own series, but he actually emerges as a major standout of Superman, and of the three members of the Justice Gang, plays the most important part of the story. As for Jimmy, his subplot with Tessmacher is not quite as successful, but there are plenty of Jimmy Olsen-centric comic books out there to draw inspiration from. Could the Mr. Terrific series end up being based on the Terrifics, perhaps? The DC Comics series has become popular, and the team also includes characters Metamorpho, who appears in Superman. It'll probably be a while before we get any official details on these projects, even if they're more move forward. But for now, yada yada yada. Okay. So, and it's so funny because I just told you how much I liked Jimmy Olsen.
Do you mean to switch us on purpose?
Yes, I should have done that from the get go.
Okay.
So Jimmy Olsen, I liked from the get go. I don't think he gets his own. He should have his own series.
No, if you're going to do that, it needs to be the Daily Planet. You could do a Daily Planet show, and that could actually be very interesting to then give you a chance to flush all those characters out. But Jimmy by himself, nah, unless it's Jimmy smashing, because apparently Jimmy got
right. Jimmy is game. Yeah, but that's the thing is I think he elevates it well in the movies he's in. A full show, you're gonna get into Marvel territory. You're giving everybody a show. Mr. Terrific, you could do a show with. You could absolutely do a show with Mr. Terrific and what he's doing. It adds for a lot of characters that could lead into other things. So I think to me that makes more sense if they're going to do a show. You do Mr. Terrific. Jimmy Olsen does not need a TV show. I mean, Skyler would tell you otherwise, obviously, but I would say no.
Make your bread. But right. No, if you again. Jimmy by himself, as good as he was, there's nothing about that character in particular that I'm like, yeah, I want to see a whole TV show about Jimmy Olsen. But again, not really having Perry, seeing how strong Lois was, not really getting to spend time with the other characters. You know, Beck Bennett's character.
Right. What was he even in there for? I like Beck Bennett, but what was the
sports guy? Like he's all I can never.
I knew who he was, but why was he even in there? Pointless.
Just because he's one of the people that's in the Daily Planet. So again, I would be okay with a Daily Planet show because I didn't get a chance to, other than, you know, the moments where as a crew they work together. I would watch that, but just Jimmy, nah, I would not be interested in just a Jimmy Olsen show. Honestly, it's part of the reason why like Gotham was at times a little hit or miss. I do love James Gordon and Bullock, but essentially giving them a buddy cop show and Batman's sort of there was like, okay, like
it's unnecessary. What do you guys think? Should Jimmy Olsen have a TV show? Are we wrong? Should Mr. Terrific have a TV show? Are we right? Or is the answer both? Or is the answer to both neither? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. You should put your thoughts in not just in the live stream, which you guys are already doing wonderfully. You should do it on the replay when you're watching it because you didn't get a chance to watch it live, or you can do it on the Clips channel. Clips channel is really taking off. We're starting to get a lot of people over there, and what I'm noticing is there's now people going over there that clearly aren't watching the full show because we had Kris Carr did a clip the other day, and it did really well, and every other comment was like, "She's on this show now. She's been on the show for like 4 weeks." so now, hopefully, people are seeing through that Clips channel and finding stuff through that Clips channel that, there's a lot of stuff there. So hopefully you guys have been going there and checking out that Clips channel because it lets you know, yeah, look, I didn't get a chance to watch the whole show today, but I wanted to see. There's going to be the full spoiler or non-spoiler discussion that we had on there. And then we're going to talk about this. James Gunn says that every DC movie will have a completely different tone. And I think that is kind of taking a page out of what Marvel was trying to do at one point. They've since fallen off of that, but they were doing that for a bit, and I thought it was very successful when they were doing that. So this is what he says about the different tone. James Gunn has revealed that ideally he wants every movie in the DCU to have its own stamp, which involves ensuring that they all have a different tone. Superman may be the first ever DCU movie, but that doesn't mean the bright, optimistic, arguably a little corny and relatively family-friendly world inhabited by David Cornswell's Man of Steel is going to inform this franchise going forward. All the planned DCU movies and TV shows will be part of the same shared universe. Director and DC Studios James Gunn has made it clear that he wants every project to feel different from a tonal standpoint. He said, it's this movie. It's really important to me that every movie has its own stamp. The movie is very different from the R-rated movie we're making, a body horror movie with Clayface. It's very different from Sergeant Rock movie that we're developing. It's very different from Supergirl, which is a space fantasy. Greg Gillespie just walked by here a second ago who directed that. So every one of these movies is completely different. What I love about DC Comics and the graphic novels is that they allowed the individual artists and writers to create their own projects, and they each had their own voice. Long Halloween, All-Star Superman, Dark Knight, Watchmen, those things have very little tonally in common with each other, except for they're part of the set of the communal characters that are in the DC universe. And now we're doing that same thing in the DCU. A sound strategy if you want to offer fans as much variety as possible, but it might become an issue once it's time for these characters to begin sharing the screen. That was my question. Gunn also touched on how horror-inspired the Clayface movie is going to be, and he said, it's pure effing horror, like totally real. Their version of the movie, it's so real and true and psychological and body horror and gross. To be fair, a lot of Marvel Studios projects do vary in tone, at least some degree, but not to the extent that it becomes jarring when we see Doctor Strange, for example, team up with Earth's mightiest heroes in the Avengers movies. What do you make of Gunn's plan for the DCU? Great. That was my question. My question is, okay, so you're going to do a movie like Superman, which is, again, like a Saturday morning cartoon. And then you're not going to do that for Batman. You can't do that for Batman. I'll tell you this. I don't want to see that kind of tone for Batman. I don't care how different they need to make it. I don't want to see a Saturday morning cartoon for Batman.
I think what just happened in that comment, because you're right. This is something that the MCU was doing for a while. Think about it. I mean, The Winter Soldier was like a spy political thriller. Guardians was kind of the anti-hero, ensemble. Ant-Man was a heist film. Like you
right.
did tap into that for a while. So he's not really reinventing the wheel here. But that comment to me actually feels like he may have just tipped his hat that they're probably just going to let Pattinson play Batman in the DCU.
You think?
I think that may have been what that was. For some reason, my gut is telling me, because the Batman is such a tonal difference from this, that almost feels like a way to be like, surprise.
Right. I mean, but that's why I really agreed with what Josh Wilding said there all the way around, right? It's like Marvel, yes, they did different movies, but it was never so extreme that you didn't feel like they fit in the same universe, right? Mm. So like Ant-Man, clearly it was a crime thriller. It was a heist movie, heist comedy. You felt it fit in with everything else, right? As you mentioned, Winter Soldier, darker movie, fit in with everything else for sure. But if you get something like, if you're making what the hell was the movie that everyone loved that I thought was just okay with Demi Moore that she gets nominated for the Oscar?
The Substance.
Yes. So The Substance is essentially what Clayface seems like it's going to be, right? If you have The Substance in the DCU next to Superman, right, and you start to if the Clayface movie can be similar in tone to you believing that where Batman eventually fits into it. How do you then put that Batman and those people that you were in that world with Superman? How do you do that? And I get that's going to be, it's not impossible, but that's going to be the challenge overall with the different tones. That, and I think Josh Wilding said that well in his article, but it's like, that's a major concern. It's like, how are you going to make those two? Because if you do Robert Pattinson, you bring him in and he's in the DC, because that was my thought the other day was, you can't do Robert Pattinson now. I mean, compared to Robert Pattinson and David Corenswet on screen together, that Superman and that Batman, it's like, how does that work?
I don't think you can, but that's why I think this quote was a way for Gunn to try and
make it
preemptively say this might be happening. Like, that's the only reason why, because like, again, he did not say something that was not already the case with Marvel. You know what I'm saying? Like that was something that they were doing, and they still kept it up a little bit recently, but not to the level that they were specifically around phase 2. Because I mean, people would make that argument like Shang-Chi was straight up a martial arts film,
right?
But you set it in the Marvel universe. You know what I mean? Like,
and well, that's a great analogy also, or example. Shang-Chi was a martial arts movie for the first two halves.
Yeah.
Or the first half of the movie, and then the end of it just turned into a Marvel fantasy movie. Because like, well, we got to stay with the same tone.
Well, it's similar with Quantum Mania, for all of its faults one way or the other. I mean, the one thing that we both agreed on originally was that it was like, this is really a sci-fi epic. And then again, you kind of tipped your head into the Marvel thing. So I would make the argument that Marvel kind of lost a little bit of the sauce of being able to keep the tone throughout while having it be a Marvel property. Versus we started with the tone and then Marvel. Because we said that about WandaVision. We said that we were like, what is this kind of crazy mystery going on? Like, this is the Marvel. Like, that's the thing. I'm not saying I don't want Marvel elements to it. I'm just saying that, like, if once you pick a tone, keep the tone, which I will give Agatha all along a little bit more of credit that they were able to keep it throughout.
I'm not, I don't think I'm there, because I think that I'm all for you trying something different. I was like, look, if you can make tones different and make it work, then great. If I believe that, if the tones are different and I believe that they exist in the same universe, and you've done the magic trick. It's just, I just think it's not easy. I don't think you have to stay at the same tone.
No,
I just think that you got to
find out how to blend them.
You have to find a way to blend them, and you have to make me believe that if you're going to do Robert Pattinson, I don't think that they're going to be honest, but if you're going to do Robert Pattinson, you have to show me how this R-rated, I think it's R-rated, is the first one. So it is, right? The first Batman was R-rated. At least it sure felt like it.
It was PG-13.
Was it really? Wow. Okay. So a movie that feels like a David Fincher R-rated film.
Okay, The Penguin was a TVMA, which is essentially R.
Right, and it's the same universe, right? That's the same universe. So if that show and that movie are in, how would you eventually put Colin Farrell's Penguin on screen with that Superman? That's what
interacting with that Lex. That's the other thing that's interesting, is because Lex is the mastermind, and he does remind me of the Superman animated series meets Gene Hackman for sure. I think he did a really good job there. But no, I agree with you. I don't think that using Pattinson is the right move. I just think this quote, that's what's pushing me in that direction to feel like, oh, is that what he's doing right now? Because I don't think you needed to say that. Because I think that was something that was already implied, knowing that we have seen that before.
And look, here's another show that fits in it. Peacemaker is definitely rated R. And, and clearly those characters are going to exist in this world. So how does it all work? I like that it's exciting enough that we get a chance to find out. You know what I mean? I will say that's what, to me, that's what this movie did for me. Maybe not everyone else. Even if, and this is a question for people. Here's a question for people in the chat that saw the movie and didn't really love it. Are you checked out of the DCU? Are you done? Do you not want to see where it goes, or are you curious to see actually where it goes now, even though you didn't love the first one, love Superman?
Can you put like a poll? I'm curious if we could do a
Luke, and I don't know if I think PLD's gone too, and I don't have time for that.
No, I get it. I was just curious.
But yes, but but they could. But I'm curious. I'm very curious to see what people thought. Anyway, the tone. What do you think? Should it be the same tone? Should it be different tones? Can they make that work? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. Okay, we're gonna get to questions. Winston's got to really, really battle it out here. He's got to try to beat Roxy, and he's got to try to beat Mike. They had 203, I believe it was.
Something like that.
Winston, right now, I believe. Let's see. I'm going to go all the way to the top. Winston, before let me get to the questions. As I do, tell them real quick what's going on in your channel.
Absolutely. Come find me at youtube.com/theswaggyblurred. I did 2 live streams. I'm going to start consistently doing Mondays and Wednesdays. We're going to talk about stuff. We're going to hang. We'll play some games. I'll answer questions, all that stuff. Later this afternoon, my memberships on my YouTube channel and my Patreon are getting a nice facelift. We're going to be doing watch-alongs. We're going to be doing... I'm actually going to do some like tutorial stuff for people. People were asking me about like my editing on my videos and things like that. I'm going to actually walk you through how I do all of that stuff like that. So if you want to kind of learn some of those things, you can do that as well. And I am very excited. I finished my script. I didn't want to put it out within the first week or 2 of Superman, but my next kind of discussion, theory, whatever, I have a very strong theory about how I think the Fantastic Four is going to play out. That video will be out next week. I'm filming it today. I will edit it while I'm in Dallas with my dad next week. And then that should be out next Thursday. So definitely check all that out. youtube.com/theswaggyblurred.
Go check it out. And if you want to support Winston, get him that win. Can he beat Roxy and Mike? He's at 45 right now. 45. Can he do it? We shall see. Tim says, like Rocha, I came into Soups with a certain mindset, but I ended up loving it. The trailer showed the best heroic moments, but my theater still clapped. I'm telling you, this is one of those movies that it's like, it's so like, it's crazy. Like depending on like every other comment, go look at any one of your review, my review. Every other comment is, I loved it. I hated it. I loved it. I hated it. I love it. It's crazy. It's like, this is one of those movies that's just like either don't mind something. Everyone knows it has flaws. It's got a lot of flaws.
Hey, man. At some of the comments though, which is funny to me, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, how much of this is Lex Luthor behind? Like, and you catch my drift as far as what I mean by that. But some of like when people give legit criticisms, like I think what Dan was saying, I think a vast majority of what he was saying, I was like, I see exactly what you're talking about, and like, you know, good for you for calling that. But it's very interesting. Anybody that's like, man, it sucks, and I'm like, well, I'm in my comments like, do you want to expand?
Yeah, right, exactly. Alex Fraser, name the release order for these movies: the Batman 2, Blade, Beyond the Spider-Verse, and the Ray movie. Oh man. I will say Batman 2, Spider-Verse, Ray. No. Blade.
You think
Ray.
Blade over Ray?
I don't think the Ray movie is what it's supposed to be right now. That movie, I don't think that movie's ever going to happen. I think she's going to be in the trilogy with Simon Kinberg. So if that's what we're talking about, but if you're talking about that announced standalone Ray movie, I don't think the movie's ever going to happen.
See, I think the only thing that I would say is that I think Blade will end up in the Midnight Suns because it sounds like they're probably going to do that. I don't know if Blade's getting a movie anytime, at least not with Mahershala like this. He ain't going to get a solo anything at this point. I think that is kind of fully dead in the water.
Right.
But you know Star Wars better than I do, so you would know about Ray more than I would.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it's going to happen. Alex Fraser mentioned on a podcast last year that you listened to A State of Trance. How did you find out about it, and when did you start listening? Above and Beyond fan. I think that Above and Beyond, I have to look into it. I think that maybe I've listened to it. I'm not sure, but not as much to say I'm a fan. So Armin van Buuren, I found a long time ago. It was, whether it was the blah 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 track, whatever it might have been. And then I just listened to him a lot, and then I said, "Oh, I think he's got to have a YouTube channel." Then I did, and it must have been a few years ago when I started listening to it. It is what I write to. It's what I like. Anytime I'm able to, even when I'm making thumbnails, I'm listening to Trance, and usually it's him. Mike K. Happy Superman weekend, everyone. Thank you, Mike. Can't watch live because I'm out seeing the movie for a second time. That's great. That's another thing we didn't talk about. Like the people who did love it and going back to see it again. What's the second weekend look like for them? But I have a question for Coy. What would you like to see in a potential Jimmy Olson spinoff series?
Corky, where are you?
Coy.
Corky. That must have come in before we started.
Yeah, he did. John Darius, what did you guys think of Millie Alcock as Supergirl? Personally, she was fantastic, and I think her film will do even box office wise if Superman does well in the end. Thoughts? Without giving too much, love her as an actress. I hated her introduction. Hated it. Absolutely hated it.
I think from the standpoint of, again, knowing the character and the iterations of her, I know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I actually think that I agree with this statement. I think that bigger at the box office, I don't know about that, but comparable at least. Okay. I think just by the nature of they're setting up room for character growth, especially since Lobo's being introduced in it. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the things that will make her learn to be a better person.
I just need to see more. You know more about the character than I do. What I know is I know Helen Slater's version from the 1983 movie.
Sure.
So I don't really have enough to say whether or not that it could work or not. Mild-mannered comic nerd. I love the movie. Saw it in 40X, and they cranked the seats to 11 and left. Almost flew out of my seat several times. I loved it. That's amazing. This did feel like its own comic and cartoon. Yeah, it did. It gave me All-Star Superman and Superman Earth 1 feel. Last part I can't speak of. I have no idea, but I can say that I felt like I was watching a comic book come to life. Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Mild-mannered comic nerd. P.S. Call me crazy. I kept thinking about Mike Kalinowski when I could see Guy Gardner. Am I crazy? Mike could have easily played that character. Mike could have absolutely played Guy Gardner.
I think Mike could have done Guy. I think though I would have probably wanted to see him as Metamorpho. Not that Anthony didn't do a good job, but I think that Mike would have also done a really good job with that one and would have brought his also style of like a little bit of anger in there.
Yeah,
I think would have been interesting. But yeah, no, he could have played Guy. It's just I'm imagining him with that haircut.
Oh, I would pay money to have him on that haircut just for this show. Jose Diaz, what's up, Jose? Hey guys. Hope all is well. I honestly wanted to thank you guys for keeping it real and just being good dudes. Thank you, Jose. Kristian, thank you for producing great content with amazing guests. That's so kind. You've been really vocal lately, Jose. So thank you so much for being in here and being supportive. And it's always very nice. Like I said, I've been trying. I think that I've accomplished it over the last, and it's just because of the audience. As I said, we wanted to like focus not always on just talking about everything's positive. Clearly today we talked about critiques and stuff, but focusing on positive things is really where I wanted to go with. And I also, like I said yesterday, Winston, when he texted me the other day and had the nice words to say about the pilot, and then like it really meant a lot to me yesterday when Jeremy had reached out and things like that, and just paying attention to positivity and things like that. It's very nice. So you saying something like that, Jose, it goes a long way, my friend. Thank you. Mild-mannered comic nerd again. Thank you, mild man. If any of you go to a Regal movie theater, I recommend getting the Superman blanket and pillow.
What does that look like? Let's see.
I don't know. You gotta look that up.
Oh, did that show you what they gave me at my screening though?
No. What you got? It's good radio right here. So you should. That's what happens. You don't come in 5 minutes late. You could have gotten it. Hold on. Wait a second. Is that it?
Yeah, they gave us capes, man. So I was out here rocking the Superman cape all day, which was genius because you had all these grown men and women right along with kids running around like Superman, just with capes on. It was pretty smart.
Speaking of yesterday, my freaking war starts. My little one really is Joe Pesci. She really is. It's like the balls in this kid. So she was Netflix had sent they have a new movie coming out at the end of the year, this animated film, and there's this character Baloney Tony, which is you have the Baloney Tony? Or you got
Marshall sent me to a screening.
So you saw the screening too?
Not the whole movie, but I saw like a decent amount.
Right. So he sent that to. I gave it to my daughter. She's had it for like 2 weeks. She loved it. She goes to sleep with it. Great. My 13-year-old didn't get anything that night. Nothing. So they sent the art. My 13-year-old is obsessed with Arcane. She loves it. So they sent me this art book of all the Arcane stuff, like everything Arcane. Like there's certain things. There's a wanted poster of Jinx. It's like, so I walk in with the thing, and the first thing, my little one's sitting there. She's arms like this. She's like, "Who's that for?" Right? And I go, Vivi, and she goes, "What is it?" And I go, it's Arcane. And she goes like this. She goes, I go, "You think she'll like it?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Great." So I go upstairs. My oldest loves it. She's like, "Oh my gosh!" She freaks out and everything. The little one starts freaking out. And
I go, I thought you were excited. She's like, yeah, but she enjoyed her gift more than I enjoyed mine.
Dude,
And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you got a full thing. She's like, yeah, but she'd have to show how much she liked it. I liked mine, but not as much as she liked hers.
dude, I really want to see who she turns into as like a teenager adult. Because, well, no, that's what I'm saying. The fact that this is the personality now, and like she's
been like this since she was 2.
And the fact is, she obviously can speak, but when she starts developing the language of a teenager with the same attitude, I'm just like, oh my god!
I told you the other day what she said. 2 weeks ago, we were sitting there eating with. I was playing Connect 4 with her, and so we're playing Connect 4, and my wife asked her if she wants yogurt. She's like, yeah, and so my wife's like, what? She's like, yeah, and my wife goes, what? And I go, she said yes, she wants yogurt. And the little one looks at me. She goes, this guy gets it.
Dude, have you just been showing her Goodfellas this entire time?
For real, I'm telling you. Big Bang OT4, World's Finest with Pattinson would be box office. How do you make the tone work? That's the question. Who directs it? James Gunn could not direct that. No. He couldn't, because I'm convinced James Gunn can't do movies without humor in it. He can't. What movie's ever done without humor in it?
Right? No, he's a producer. I was going to say Brightburn, but never mind.
He produced it. What movie has he directed that doesn't have humor?
No, I know.
I can't stay away from cracking jokes. He just can't.
Yeah.
I don't think I will say this. I think he should step back from directing some of these things and produce and write. He set up the world. He did a great job doing the world. Step back now. Sergio C. Happy Friday, guys. Superman was a solid 8 out of 10. I wanted more backstory on certain characters, and the story was all over the place. That's what I gave it. I gave it 8 out of 10 with the exact same notes, Sergio. I agree.
Yeah, I gave it a I guess I gave it the same thing. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a solid like B minus movie. Yeah. For sure.
I think I went 4.1 in my review, but I'll probably go down to 4 now. Big Bang OT4, terrific film. Let's just say that the gun didn't jam. But don't. Go
Did
pal.
James Gunn write that?
Yep. Go pal. Coy. I saw your I Know What You Did last summer reaction with Roxy. I'm curious why you were thinking of Freddie Prinze Jr. being in American Pie. As far as I can remember, I can't find he wasn't in any of those. No, he was not.
No, he was in if I remember, he had a brief cameo in Not Another Teen Movie that, I thought he did. I know obviously Chris Evans was in that. He was the star, and then obviously our boy Sam.
Yeah, and Serena from who was in my pilot was in Not Another Teen Movie also. Yeah. So go pal. That is not trying to be just wondering what came in your head at American Pie, not what were you thinking and such. Coy.
No. Coy.
Nothing from Coy on that one. Go pal. I try to type such and such as a euphemism, but no. Thank you, go pal. Buster Barnes, I absolutely love Superman. That's an 8 out of 10 for me. There you go.
8.9.
8.9 out of 10. There you go. Let's go. Perfect. So funny. Someone mentioned, I'm going to disagree. Someone said that there's other movies that have been coming out that we give no attention to. Yesterday, we literally led with a bunch of other stories that didn't want to lead with Superman, and nobody watched it. That's why. That's what happens.
Again.
Exactly. It's like we don't make original movies anymore. All right, let's make an original movie. Nobody watches it. I led with a bunch of topics of what, and I don't regret it because I wanted to talk about the stuff that was coming out, the other stuff that wasn't Superman related, and this is capes and cowls. So that's why we.
So I was going to say, what other superhero movies are out right now? Why would we talk about Fantastic Four? Sure, they're on the press tour, but nothing's happening.
I think he meant more so in general for the week. It's Superman Week is when's coming out, but I literally led Thursday. I don't believe that person watched yesterday's show, because if they did, they wouldn't have wrote that comment. Scott B. saw Superman with my wife, and her first comment afterwards was, "Is this the same universe?" It isn't moody. We both really enjoyed it and gave 9 out of 10. Is this the same universe as what? What does she mean by that?
That is the question. Oh, probably Snyder then, because it's not because the last time she saw Superman was Man of Steel.
Oh, okay, I see.
League,
isn't it because it isn't moody? I understand. Okay, so basically what he's saying is that Gunn accomplished by changing the tone. I'm just green. Superman was great. 4.5 out of 5. Another 9 out of 10. Why not? While it wasn't perfect, it was a great start for the DCU. Left me wanting more in the best way. I mean, that answers my previous question, right? It's like, people are going to want to see more of it, and it looks like it. So, okay, next one. Tristan Green. Truly enjoyed Soups, but I am the only one walking out thinking that Jimmy out there breaking back.
No. You were not the only one. Jimmy clearly beats him. The fact that you don't start giving the girls in your phone nicknames if you don't have a whole Rolodex of girls in your phone.
Definitely. I'm like rhinoceros. So Joe Hendo TV, after sitting on it for a few days, I liked Superman 2025 quite a lot. Man of Steel is still my favorite Superman film, though. I will tell you that I still, right now, I have this, the movie's still fresh in my mind. I'm still, and it's, whether you want to call it nostalgia or not, Superman 2 is my favorite. Superman 1 is probably second. Man of Steel is third. And then this one is probably fourth.
I think the nostalgia part, I'm not saying that older movies aren't still obviously good, but I mentioned it when I watched that original one. I was like, man, this is a little cheesy at times. Like, so in the same way that like, no, I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's an older movie, but like to that point, I can go back and watch the original Star Wars and I don't necessarily feel that way.
Sure. You know I get it, but I just think, but remember, it was the first comic book movie. And also it was the first comic movie that said, take this seriously.
Right.
And there are no other movies that did that. It set the stage. I still think, I know it's opinions, but I still will say the following. I think that anyone says that David Corenswet is my Superman, he's Superman, I think they're out of their minds. I don't think anyone will replace, whether you like one or two, or whether you think the one or two are dated, Christopher Reeve embodied what Superman was. He is the Superman. He was, everyone else was trying to, David Corenswet has said as much, Henry Cavill, they all looked at what he did. And he was like Sean Connery as Bond. Christopher Reeve was Superman. And I know that people played him beforehand. I get it. Christopher Reeve was Superman, and David Corenswet was great. Doesn't even hold a candle.
I still need to rewatch this and see what Corenswet does with another movie. The one thing that I will say, and I don't even necessarily know if that's the actor, if that's again just the writing for it, Corenswet did a better job in certain cases of bringing the full envelopment of Clark and Superman, but that's only because
Christopher Reeve.
But I don't think that has anything to do with Reeve. I think that has to do with who's writing the character. That's what I'm saying. So I don't necessarily. So for me right now, Corenswet is, but that's only because he is.
Christopher Reeve took his glasses off, and he just turned into a different person.
I'll put it to you this way. You know what it is? Christopher Reeve is Tom Brady. And you know what I'm saying, but not without Belichick. Whereas for me, Corenswet, I'm not going to crown him Mahomes, but for the sake of this argument, I'm saying he's Mahomes, but he has Andy Reid backing him up. And so like it's equal parts.
I understand where you're going.
See what I'm saying?
I see where you're going, but I think it's premature. Armada, new Public Enemy album is out. Really? Also, clips. There's a new Public Enemy. What year are we living in?
Hey man, look, Wu-Tang on tour.
Yeah, I know. Is Flav able to do some stuff?
Please tell me you see the video of the Yin Yang Twins out performing right now. It is so sad.
Yes, send to me. Michael Baldwin. Kristian, your issue with a certain character can be solved if you watch the New Adventures with Superman cartoon. They do the same thing as the movie. Yes, I'm being vague on purpose. Yeah, but that's the difference, though. Not everything should carry over from animated. Like, I don't want to see like this movie felt like a cartoon. I don't want every movie to feel like a cartoon. I really don't. And if you're talking about what I think you're talking about at the end, it's like that. It just, I was like, because I was excited to see that. I was like, oh. That's how we're doing. That's how we're feeling.
Just specifically, that is what you have seen is definitely the silver. Oh golly, shucks, that's not. Kara is very different. Where she,
I'll give it. I mean, I'm curious. Scott Horowitz. While I enjoyed Man of Steel, my biggest complaint was the lack of the iconic John Williams theme. I loved how they wove it into this movie. What did you guys think of the score? I agree with you. I think that if you're going to lean into it. Like if you're going to use it, really use it. Like, it's like, no, it's still there. It's still there. And I'm glad that they did, but it didn't hit me. And maybe it could have been, John Williams apparently been notorious for this. I don't use all of it. I think he did that for some of the Star Wars stuff, but if you own it, use it. They should have used the whole thing, but whatever. Israel Lopez. I got a free membership. checking the comics. Thanks. I'm glad that someone hooked up with it. Yes, please read that comics. Wicked Art did such a great job. And for people who didn't know, if you're a member or a patron, you have access to the full Capes and Cowls comic book. Wicked Art worked on it for like over a year and a half, 2 years, maybe even more than that. It's fantastic. We're going to do a full-on version of it with all of our voices and everything too. And you guys can access the whole thing. You just go and if you're a member, you have access to it. If you're a patron, you have a membership. Mike Joyce, do you think the movie felt like more like an intro to the DCU than a Superman movie? No.
I could see that potentially, but no, just because I felt like we kept coming back to how is this affecting Clark? How is this affecting Clark every single time? And so, you had to world build everything else out, but I would always zero back in on.
Yeah, they're following. I mean, I think Superman, Clark doesn't have a lot of screen time, but Superman has a lot of screen time.
I'm interchangeably using it, but I agree with you.
No, I know. I'm just saying in general. David Jordeo, thank you, David. That's very kind of you, sir. I enjoyed the movie a lot, but there's still a part of me that loves Man of Steel more. Me too. It's kind of hard to really compare the two different tones completely. I just want the majority of people to be on the same page positively. Me too, my friend. I feel James did that. I hope the movie does great. Look, it's the internet, it's the world. Not everything is going to be positive, but to have the conversations and to have that idea of ultimately what the movie's about, it's like you want to find the good in people and have good conversations and look at everybody in a positive light. I do think that they accomplished that for sure, and I hope the movie does well. I think it's going to do very well. But Winston, any thoughts on what David says here?
I stand by what I was saying. The idea of the state of the world. I think even with people bitching about this, I think the tone is something that we all kind of needed a little bit, and I think that'll be enough to get most people to sit down and watch it and enjoy it. They may not love it, but they will enjoy it. I think that is what James Gunn did well with this.
AA. I took my 7-year-old son this morning. He loved it, and I did have him cover his eyes for the one Lex scene. Oh, I think I know what scene you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know what scene. I don't want to say anything yet. He loved crypto, and we're going against Sunday. That's it. Crypto did his job. He got your son into the theater. Got you to take your son. Crypto is going to get kids in the theater.
Dude, that's it. Wasn't that the reason they didn't go Wookiees? They went Ewoks is to get to sell toys and get kids more into it.
I had pushback on this from people, but there was originally Kashyyyk, and then they changed.
Right.
It. Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's literally James knows what he's doing. That's Groot with Guardians.
Yeah. Shay Markel, I've been on an old movie binge these past months. Today was 28 days later. It's so strange how many of these movies weren't spoiled for me. I mean, you know what the funny thing is, Shay? They probably were. You just weren't paying attention.
I still haven't seen any of the 28 series at all.
Yeah. That's another divisive movie. I saw my good friend Mike was
the new one.
Yeah, he just posted a short, and he's like, "Don't see this movie; it stinks." And I loved it. I really love that movie. Yeah, JM Snyder broke WB considering terrific Olsen series. I don't think he did. I thought the Wall Street Journal did that. I thought he was just reporting it on Hot Mic. Am I wrong? Did he break that? I don't know. Armada, I think there was too much going on to equate what could be enough for me in Superman, particularly the characters, a little goofy in story for me. Fair. Now, I ask you, Armada, the same question that I asked beforehand. Are you still curious to see where it goes now, or are you checked out after this? I feel like Armada is going to say I'm still curious, but we'll see. Call me Jabba. What if DCU Batman is Dick filling in for missing Bruce with Damian as Violent Robin? Flashbacks to Dick training as Robin, leaving to become Nightwing, and dark Bruce post Jason's death. Ends with Batman, Robin, and NW set up for Red Hood sequel. I think that's too Nightwing. I think it's too inside baseball.
Especially if you're doing a Red Hood and Nightwing show still that's a part of the DCU. That's supposed to be multiple it's both. I thought it was animated puppets, live action, like they're moving through a bunch of different types of way.
There's only this movie Superman was very much made for the comic book movie fan, the comic book fan. This was not made for general audiences in general, but the comic book movie fan and the comic book fan has grown substantially over the last 10, 15 years. So it's big enough to where it can make a lot of money. But there's going to be my friend David Gambino, who's been on the show many times over. He ran Robert Downey Jr.'s company. He ran. He was big wig at Silver. He doesn't love comic book movies. He goes and sees them. He checks them out. He goes and sees them. And he wrote me. He goes, "What about Superman? What do you think?" And I said, "You would hate it. He's gonna. There's no world where he likes it. There's no world. He's gonna see it, and I'll report back. But it's just not. It's not for him." Another one of my friends who wrote me said the other day, "I'm going to see it. Am I going to like it?" And I go, "No, you will not like this." And sure as hell, he tweeted out that he hated it, and I was like, "Yeah, that it tracks. It's meant for certain audiences." PLD projects. I'm on my way to vacation, but wanted to stop in briefly. I absolutely loved it. Look at that. Not a perfect movie, but maybe my favorite. The DC universe felt completely established and made me want to see more of it. There you go.
There you go.
Armada. I liked it, but I didn't love it. Took me out at times. Totally fair. It took me out at times too. I'm not gonna lie to you. There were a few times I went, "Oh man, okay, let's move, let's go." And then but by the time I said, "How did I feel when I left?" And I left I felt like a little kid.
I would put it this way. I didn't hate anything about the movie. No. There were definitely things that I was just like, okay. Right. Plenty of things that I liked and plenty of things that I loved. So but I walked out of the movie. If I am obsessed with the movie, when I leave, I'm like, why is this over? I need to see it again. Right. I didn't feel that, but I definitely would see it again.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait for the digital. I don't think I'm gonna see it again. I'm gonna wait for the digital. Joey Pedras, love how they've already started differentiating these characters. Curious how Boy Scout Soups will play against darker characters. 1000%. That to me alone is intriguing enough to see how they're going to make that work and which director is going to do it. Because here's the thing, I would much rather see, let's say they have a serious Batman or whatever it might be, in the tone of, let's say it's not Matt Reeves, but it's not too far off from it, right? In the Clayface area. I would much rather see Superman try to fit into that world than I would try to see Batman try to fit into the tone that we saw in Superman.
Well, and you have an easier avenue to do that, in that we got a moment of what a darker Superman, this particular Superman, looks like. You covered it on the scene that was on ABC where he busts into Lex's office. Right. Yeah. That's the perfect example of what happens when he starts to lose his way a little bit.
Yeah. All right, Punk rocker. Yes, I am. That was actually, they used that song in the movie. I like that song a lot. It's one Supergirl scene and it's her character. Fair. Like I said, maybe I just don't like the character. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just don't like the character. Shay Markel. Kristian, I believe you haven't read the second Dune book, right? No, I have not. But Winston, have you read it? Are you guys concerned about how they will do the story? I'm hoping that they change it, and not even because I've never read it, but from what I hear, it says I don't want it to be weird. I don't want it to be too. I mean, because Dune 1 and 2 it's just so great. I want to see how that, because they're now calling it Dune 3. They're not calling it Messiah anymore. They're calling it Dune 3. I want it to make sense. They change it up a little bit. Then let them change it up a little bit. He follows it up and says, "I'm looking forward to Dune 3, but I did not enjoy the second book." That's my point. Nobody did. Every time, every person that reads it says it was too weird. I didn't like it. It had sparks of brilliance, but I was left very unsatisfied with the story. Exactly. Change it up.
Yeah, I'd have to.
Yeah. More support from Shay. Thank you. 61 currently. 61.
Okay.
You need just about 150 right now. Close to it to really follow. But you still got around 20, a little over half an hour. Buster Barnes. It's kind of ironic. It is kind of ironic how people were worried about side characters taking away Superman's spotlight, and now they're saying they didn't get enough of them.
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I was just gonna say that was a thing. People were like, "Why is every single person in this movie?" I think that's the problem, especially if you're world building. Though there's a certain level of you kind of almost have to. The Justice Gang don't live in Metropolis, but all those other characters do. So you were going to have to, in some form or another.
I'm not saying that, though. To be honest, I'm not seeing a lot of people saying that we didn't get enough of them. I'm saying I think that because they put them in there and they're already in there, that they weren't developed enough. But
I think that's what he's implying. I don't think he's implying give us more characters. I think he's implying, oh, well, we have all these characters. Why aren't we spending more time with them? I think that's kind of what let me not speak for Buster, but I think that's what Buster is trying to say.
Okay. Let's see. Next one. And it is from Dennis Hoffman. I had a blast at Soups. Outside of Clark, Lois, terrific Jimmy, and Guy popped. Flow and the editing was a bit off, though. Also, two things that will throw casuals off. I think he's going to probably follow that up. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm not seeing a lot of criticisms that I'm disagreeing with. You know what I mean? I'm really not. Corn Emperor, I'm late. Winston for the fucking win. There you go. Let's see. Simon Section, I liked Superman. I'm used to seeing MCU movies. I was expecting more at the end credits or not. Looking forward to seeing Crypto again later, bitches. Yeah, no.
I was expecting when we the character that you're talking about. Well, I guess we've talked about Supergirl. I was expecting that to be the post credit.
Right. But I actually liked what they did with the post credits because it's setting it up going, don't expect everything to just enjoy the post credits. That's it.
I agree.
Corn Emperor watched and really liked Superman taking Little Man. Watched and really like taking his little man to see Superman. I see what you're saying. Enjoy. Eric Slaby, having seen Superman, do you think the Batman and the DCU Batman should still be separate, or would you want Pattinson to be rolled into DCU? Well, we kind of touched on that so far. I would say it just depends. I don't think that if you're gonna roll this Pattinson in and you're gonna combine him with Superman, James Gunn cannot direct that. He can't. The guy, he can't stay away from that kind of humor. He just can't. It's just not in his blood. And you can't. If I see Pattinson start cracking James Gunn humor as Batman, I'm jumping out the window.
Damn.
I was like, no, you can't do that. You can't
jumping out the window.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first floor, but still, no, thank you. Eric Slaby, I hope Gunn stays with his OG plan of the Batman staying as Elseworlds. I would enjoy two different universes and takes on Batman more. Yeah, you would, but the question is, would the general audience know and even care with the superhero fatigue and the way that it is right now? Do you take that risk? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Superhero fatigue. It's real right now. I used to say back. I remember being at Collider saying, "No, it's not. It's real because it's just so much. It's like hit and miss right now of what's good and what's bad. It really is." And even the ones that are good, like Thunderbolts, if you don't have a good IP tied to it, Superman's going to do well because it's freaking Superman. You know what I mean? Thunderbolts was a good movie. It ate it. Joe Hendo TV. If Superman had a tone similar to Man of Steel and Superman and Lois, and I could have seen him putting the Batman in the DCU. Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
I think that's spot on.
B. Gill, I hear the Batman tones in one song of the score. Really?
Where?
Which Batman? Which part?
I think he means the dun, 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 the one from Reeves. I didn't hear it though, but maybe I missed it.
This is hilarious. Zach Million Talks Movies. Be honest, do you like pretty girls? So,
you finally saw the Will Smith video?
I saw it a while ago. I saw it when it first came out, and I was talking about it a little while. It's embarrassing.
It's really bad. It's why him, Genuine, and the Yin Yang Twins are not doing themselves any favors for dudes over 50 still trying to make it pop.
Did you see Ari Spears roast him?
No.
Oh, he destroyed him. He was like, and now I'm an action star. He goes, I'd rather listen to Vanilla Ice.
Wait, did you see not just the video? Did you see Will in, I think it was Italy or something like that, trying to debut the song?
Yeah, when he was the pretty girls, and then the girl, and he's like, oh, nobody's reacting at all. It's terrible.
Okay, I thought you were just talking about the music video.
No.
Okay, yeah, I've seen them both.
Bad.
Oh boy.
And it's he just came back. He was able to come back from the Oscars thing and do Bad Boys 3. Like, okay, he's back. He's doing movies now. Cut it out. The singing career, it's done. You're not 35 years old anymore. You're almost 60.
I'll give him credit in the fact that a couple years ago he did a few guest verses on other people's tracks for remixes, and they were actually very good. So I think something went into his brain where he was like, all right, I'm just gonna go for it.
It's bad. Connor Mullis, no Corky, but still love you. Thank you, Connor. Appreciate it. He follows it up. I love Superman, but got the blanket at my theaters. It's Superman's cape. Could not buy it. Yeah, people are digging that blanket. I got to check that out. Eric Slaby. Corn Sweat said he'd love to play a Jedi or Starfighter pilot in Star Wars. Yeah, he's a big Star Wars head. Which would you prefer, and what are the chances he appears in the Gosling film? I don't think he's going to appear in the Gosling film. I think they already cast that, and they're starting to shoot. But now that he's becoming, a pretty big star, I think if he really wants to do that, and he'll probably be able to get a meeting. What would I prefer? I don't know what the movie is that he's doing. You know, it depends on the role.
Yeah, but I said this, and I still believe this. I think that this is the movie that finally, because I don't think Nicholas Hoult was quite at A-list. I think he was that guy that is very good, and most people could either name him or recognize him. I think this will take him, Rachel, and David to A-list status by the time this is all over.
Yeah. Joe Hendo, TV, All-Star Superman. Yes, Superman Earth 1. No, if anything, Man of Steel was more like Superman Earth 1. All right, fair enough. Bulldog, I see you sent in a super chat. I can't read it. It's a spoiler, but I just screenshotted it on the spoiler discussion show on Monday. I will read it, but I don't want to spoil this for people. I mean, some people might have already seen it in the comments, but I don't want to bring it up. Corn Emperor, did Gunn create a good world for other directors? I mean, the setup. I mean, you set up all the fact that the metahumans are is quite like that's what he's got to now decide with the collaborators that come in of where to go next and what tone to do. So yeah, we'll see. Rafts UK Raft and Wildcat. Hell yeah. Did you ever see the movie Wildcats? Oh man, Goldie Hawn and Wesley Snipes. Woody Harrelson too.
Wow.
Yes, it's like 1984, I think.
Okay.
Connor Mullis. My Jimmy's nickname is probably Kickstand. You know. Yeah.
Dude, for her to be that thirsty, my God.
Oh, I want to clarify something, by the way. Someone said, David Jordo said that he thinks it's interesting that I think that Raimi's Spider-Man movies are dated and not the original Superman films. They're definitely dated, the Superman films, 100%. Doesn't mean that they still didn't go for a more realistic tone back in 1978 and the things that they do. And there's a lot of really good, there's a lot of dated moments that don't work now. I'm fully aware of that. But no, I think, I still think Reeve is the embodiment of what Superman should be.
You also got to remember the way that it affects people emotionally one way or the other. Like, I'm sure you can acknowledge that. And then sometimes, like, for example, The Godfather being out when it was, there are little things technically as far as making movies, but if you really get to a place of kind of like a masterpiece, whatever, then you can also avoid that. So just depends.
Okay. So Winston, you're at 71. Pretty damn good. Damn good. Elysier Santiago, Soups is 6.5 out of 10. The jellyfish scene was terrible. It was weird.
What is the jellyfish scene?
I don't want to spoil it. But
are you talking about the river part and all that?
No, I think when he's talking about when Lois and Clark are sitting. That's all.
Okay, let me think about it then.
Right. Chris, cast was great. My issues are story, pacing, and dialogue, which I place squarely on Gunn. Yeah, I agree. The more I think on it, the more it falls apart. I think there's some recency bias, and this movie won't age well. You might be right. You very well could be right. But I think it's going to do its job in getting people interested in seeing where it goes next. Armada, I hope Jimmy is in Peacemaker. Me too. Same. Shay Markel. Jeremy Renner was in 28 Weeks Later. Was he really?
Wow.
I didn't know that. Someone just told me recently. What the hell? Oh, Dr. Sleep. They said that. Was it Dr. Sleep? No, it wasn't Dr. Sleep. It was that's what. So Old Boy, the Spike Lee remake of Old Boy, which is not a very good movie, but it's a remake. I didn't realize that Elizabeth Olsen was the girl in that.
Oh.
I didn't. Someone brought that up the other day when I was at a screening for the Superman screening. I said, wow, I definitely saw that movie, but I guess at that time I didn't realize who she was. Danielson, I give this movie 6 out of 10. Came out making better scenarios in my head. I did not like Cousin calling him a bitch.
I did.
I hated it. I hated that scene so much. James Gunn, weakest movie. Do better. Well, we'll see. Ruby Bands. Thank you, Ruby. So, Crashing Coyote. Kristian, you got to listen to Coy. He said, read Woman of Tomorrow. If you did, you'd understand why her introduction was perfect. Supergirl, John Wick, incoming. Yeah, but I didn't. And a lot of people didn't read that. And so that's the thing.
So let me ask you then specifically, if you can, without spoiler, what about her character did you not like?
I can't tell without a spoiler. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to. We'll talk about it next week. Dennis Hoffman. Speaking of crypto, my 5-year-old son is dying to see Fantastic Four because of the thing. That's interesting. Cheerios box and roll in Spidey cartoon worked. Yeah. I'm getting more and more intrigued by that movie though. We'll see. Jedi Master for Life. I loved how each Justice gangster had a scene to show how badass they are, weren't handicapped in any way. That Mr. Terrific scene. He was the standard.
You know what?
Well, I don't want to spoil it.
No. I understand that. The only thing I will say is,
Well, but if you give a reference to it, it's going to give it away.
All right.
Yeah, don't give a reference.
All right.
All right. Let's see. Tristan Green. Tom Hardy's Bane might be my favorite comic book villain. Is his portrayal slept on? I don't think it's slept on. I think a lot of people have like, especially when it came out, people were imitating him all the time and doing it. I just think it's so hard because he was following Heath Ledger. You know,
I agree. You would. As much as I did love Tom Hardy's Bane, when Heath Ledger's Joker, Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger, and oh my God, Brolin's Thanos all exist. Hardy, I'll put in the conversation of Rushmore, if not like top 5, but I think those 3 are stronger.
He's also good.
Oh, Loki. Those 4, that's my Rushmore, and Bane would be just outside at number 5.
But he's also good because he's an action star. Sparky. Soups was written prior to October 7th, and Bolivian flag is 8-point star. There was 8-point Islamic, but they are clearly Russia. You can't, if anything. Soups was written prior to October 7th. I mean, look, there's definitely, I don't think there's one particular thing that he is, like, I saw some people saying, oh, very interesting that he went all in on this particular thing. He didn't. He's doing it's world politics in general is what he's doing. It wasn't one specific thing, because the things that happened before this, a lot of this stuff happened when he was already putting it out there, but it's stuff that happens in the world.
I would say, I would make the argument that people are going to be able to draw whatever conclusions, because that particular storyline is something that humans unfortunately have done for all of time and continue to effing do. So that is why people will see which conflict they want to see in it.
Fair enough. Let's see. Next one here. B. Gill Studios. It's the song in the score called Secret Harem. It's the 11th track. And yes, Robert's Batman. Is there a YouTube link? I'm sure it's already out. Ruby Bands. Hey guys, I sent Coy something through another platform. YouTube won't allow me to say which, but just wanted to make sure it doesn't get missed. Thanks. I just sent Coy
Streamlabs.
I don't know what you mean. I don't have Streamlabs. YouTube wouldn't let me switch. Ruby, I'm not sure what you mean, man. I'm sorry. You might get missed because I don't know what you're talking about. Eric Kirby. Winston. Eminem is over 50 and still has it. That's
okay.
True.
That's fine, but
he's a freak of nature.
But that's what I'm saying. This to go back to sports. Yeah. How many athletes are LeBron James and can do it as long as they've done it versus they cap out early, or Tom Brady can do it as long as they've done it versus
Here's the difference though, too. What's the most time Eminem has ever taken off? A year and a half? Right.
He took there was a number of stints in rehab where he took like a solid 3 to 4
that long
off.
Was it that long? Okay, but even let's cut the difference and say 2.5, right? Will Smith was out for way longer than that.
I mean, he essentially stopped after Wild West.
Because he's an action star. Simon's section. Jumping off. So no Batman complaining about the fruit not tasting fresh. But he's a detective who doesn't know about carpentry. Oh, rich boy. Do you know what the hell he's talking about?
So no Batman complaining about the fruit not tasting fresh. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but he's a detective who doesn't know about carpentry.
I see what he's saying. He's saying basically don't have Batman, because I said before I don't want to see Batman telling James Gunn jokes.
Got it.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Next one after that is Corn Emperor. Hopefully Superman does really well. Comic book movie. There you go. Armada. I'm still curious for the DCU. I loved and wanted more of the characters despite lack of some depth. Also, Snyder interviewing U-Bowl on video today. That's not true. Is that true? You know that they boxed. Did you know that? U-Bowl. You know who U-Bowl is?
Yeah.
So
he boxed him?
He beat the shit out of Jeff Snyder. Jeff Snyder U-Bowl is jacked. He's a monster. And he can
Why
box.
did they box?
I guess Jeff gave him a bad review or something too, and he challenged him to a boxing match, and Jeff said yes. And it's on YouTube. You can find it. But I give Jeff all the credit in the world. He got in there and he just got his ass handed to him. I mean, he got the. But for that reason alone, I want to watch that interview. Is that true? Oh, please tell me
that's crazy.
That can't be true. That can't be true.
Oh, did he fight multiple critics?
Maybe, but he beat the piss out of Jeff.
Oh, Jesus.
Punk rocker, yes, I am. Both my audiences went crazy for Supergirl. Fair enough.
Super quick, just to give you a reference. So between Encore in 2004 and Relapse was 5 years, and then there was another point. Marshall Mathers 2 and Revival was 4 years. So he's taken chunks off before.
Okay. But again, not as long as Will.
No, I agree.
Mark Long, back to formula. All right, that's it for now.
Okay,
that is it for now. But 75 possible. Then maybe to keep you on before we get out of here. But I'll let you give a plug real quick, and if not, then we'll be back next week with Coy possible.
Absolutely. You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred on all platforms. I've been streaming on both my Twitch and my YouTube, but specifically going on with the YouTube channel. Again, the Patreon and the memberships will both get those finished updates today, so you can check out and see if any of those tiers work for you. I got a video about the Fantastic Four coming out next week. I've got my reviews on Superman that are going. You'll obviously see me here on Fridays. You'll see me over with Rocha on Spill the Tequila on Tuesdays. I am Everwar, baby.
That's right. We got 2 more. Rubby Bands. He doesn't check social media. I think he's talking about Coy, but I need him to see something on a platform that starts with I and ends with Graham. Instagram. I mean, I guess you can't plug Instagram on. I guess
probably not.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Scott Horwitz, watch the second sci-fi Dune miniseries to get an idea if you want to read the book. First part is Dune Messiah. Parts 2 and 3 are Children of Dune. I don't want to know anything about the story. I don't want to know anything. I want to know not a damn thing. I'm going to go in, just Denis, take me away to this world. Corn Emperor, Spill the Tequila, Winston and Rocha. There you go. 78.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Nope, just lying. 79. Alan Smithy, Jeff didn't fight Bull over direct issue with Jeff. Bull was generally pissed at critics. So there you go. And he challenged many, and Jeff was picked because he was the right weight class, according to Jeff. Oh, okay. Okay. I really have to see that video again. Maybe I need to watch.
I pulled it. I need to watch this. It's right here. Snyder put it on his channel.
Put it in the private chat.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
I mean, it's on his channel. It's like, well, if it's his channel, he'll get the view for it. So give me private chat.
Yep.
Where the hell is the private chat?
There you go.
There it is. Okay. Yeah. So I'll do this. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Perfect. So how long is it? 2 minutes and 9 seconds. So that works.
For round. This is just round 1. I don't know if he didn't put anything else. But
no, I don't think it goes past round 1.
Jesus Christ.
He's getting the view for it. So
that's what it matters.
Let's see. Share the screen. You Bull versus Jeff Snyder. There it is. All right. Can I do this? Where the hell is it? Oh. Okay. Perfect. All right. Let's see. That's you, Bull. And that's Jeff bouncing around. He's trying. He's trying
for sure.
He's trying. He doesn't know what he's doing.
He is. I don't know if he's trolling or if he's scared.
No,
it's hard to tell.
Both. Let's see. Oh, that's a nice shot by Jeff.
I know. He's trying to get in there.
He's trying.
Ooh.
Yeah. He gets yoked. Jeff's trying. Oh. He caught him in a left right.
No.
What's that? Where is it? Oh, that's
my God. Oh my God.
Man. He's throwing shots.
Yeah.
Jeff's trying though too. I give Jeff props.
No, absolutely. And he's trying to keep his hands up. But what's interesting is
he's got his hand up as much as he can, but I think he's getting exhausted right now. So.
Already? Well, he did all that dancing too early.
Yeah, right. Yep, the right snuck in there.
Holy God, bro.
Yeah, the right's
Jeff just lost 1,000 words.
And he got up.
He got up. 1,000 words are permanently erased from his mind, though, right now. See, look, you can see them escaping. Just
100%.
Oh, Jesus.
He's going back in. Down goes Frazier. Somebody's that left. That's sneaky left.
Yeah.
That sneaky left there. Oh.
got
Oh,
it.
yeah,
No,
his legs are out. His leg. Oh, his
yeah,
legs.
it doesn't have any more legs. Oh, yep. But now he's just trying to hide.
Yeah.
Oh
Where
boy.
was it that he did this?
What?
Where was this that he did this? Was it Sundance? I forget.
Let's see if it says. It doesn't say. It just says the
Let's see.
Golden Palace Casino and Poker.
That was round one. All right. Well, I don't know.
Sheesh, bro. That's god damn.
Yeah, he got his ass handed to him. But you give him props for doing that.
Absolutely. I just damn.
Yeah. He pulled his own shots. And that was young Jeff Snyder.
He was trying to end his whole career.
That alone would get me to watch that interview. When you watch the interview, see them talk now. Armada, that I bet you U-Bowl doesn't even remember doing that. That Street Fighter movie sounds interesting from the cast. When is the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer coming? Also, Coogler for DCU. The Coogler for anything, man. Batman, Red Lion, Bane, and Deathstroke's team up. But I would rather see Coogler do his own original shit from now on, to be honest.
I mean, after what he did with Sinners, but that's the thing. I don't think I've seen him miss. Like, his worst outing was Wakanda Forever, and I still think that that's a fantastic movie. I just don't know if it hits the same level as some of his other stuff.
Sure. Corn Emperor Winston, when are we watching Blazing Saddles?
So that's a great question. So I actually, let's see, what did I set that for? So the 20th.
Okay.
The 20th of this month. Have
you watched it already?
No.
Okay.
So what we're doing is one of the Patreon tiers will include watch along. So if you want to watch it with me live, then you can
edit it and put it on.
And I will edit it and put out my reaction. So it just depends on what you would like.
Mike Joyce, you should watch the pre-box match interview. I'm sure that's hilarious too.
Oh my god,
I think I've seen it. Zach Roberts, Soups, 9 out of 10 would have been a better 2.5 hour runtime, maybe, but they're trying to get as many people in the theater as they can. Armada, if Sklenar can't get DCU Batman, maybe him for new Indy or even Corn Sweat. Corn Sweat, no, for Indy does not fit Indiana Jones at all. But I don't think so. Sklenar is a great choice for Indiana Jones. Great choice. Ruby Bands, Kristian, can you check your starts with Ian Instagram too? I want to show you what I'm trying to show Coy. It depends, man. It's like it's kind of a tricky thing, but when it comes to sending things and all those kind of stuff, it's tough. But I don't really check the private messages too often, my friend. I'm sorry. Gopal, I've heard people say you as Uwe. Are they just pretentious?
Oh, Uwe Ball. I've heard that.
I don't think so. I think you're just probably pronouncing it correctly. That's probably what it is. All right, 86, and that's it. Nope, just kidding. Zach Roberts says, Kristian, can I get a mustard? I don't know. I don't think mustard. Fair enough. One of the best. All right, I think that right now, still the fact that you hit 87. That's pretty impressive. Winston.
On the Solo Dolo, man.
Solo Dolo 87. All right. Thank you guys for joining us here. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts around. If you haven't watched Grasping at Straws, please do it. Go check it out. It's on the channel right now. Leave a comment over there. We just hit over. We're almost at 11,000 now on that. That'd be great. You guys can go check that out for sure. I'm going to have more news for you guys on the script when we are ready to launch that Kickstarter. I'm going to tell you. Not yet, though. But we're almost there. Thank you guys again. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend. For people wondering, where's your Loki season 2 with the Superman stuff and everything too? We're just holding it out for a week. So Loki season 2 episodes 1 and 2 will be out next Tuesday. Then 3 and 4 next Friday. So just letting the soup stuff sit this weekend, and then we'll be back on schedule next week. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate you. Screwface John says before we leave, huge props to Snyder. A lot of people too afraid to try it. Respect to him, win or loss. He's a G in my book for that. 100%.
I mean, with Screwface in here, man, I bet you if Drake had just been like, yo, let's actually box, I bet you instead of going with the lawsuit route, I bet people would have put some more respect on Drake's name.
I think Drake would probably have beaten Kendrick. Kendrick
is very tiny. I'm aware, but I don't know. Yeah. Arm wrestle, do something like a lawsuit, bro. That is the most anti-street shit ever. I know. All right. Thank you guys. Really appreciate you. Thanks for being here. You guys rule. I'll see you on the next time. Bye.